comes to technology, kids today have got it made. They never had to worry about finding a friend in a phone book or rewinding VHS tapes before bringing them back to the rental store. If you are a first-time viewer, click the red subscribe button because today we are discussing 10 things kids today don't recognize. Beepers and pagers. Back in the day, pagers or beepers were like today's kids' equivalent of cell phones, which meant if you didn't have a pager by the time you were in high school, you were probably the odd man out. But what was the actual purpose of pagers? It's not like there were a lot of teenage doctors running around needing to be on call. Even if you did get paged, you would have had to use a payphone just to call the person back, because you definitely didn't have a cell phone. Phone books. Before the world had Google or services like Yelp, we had phone books. If you wanted to actually cultivate friendships, you would have to look your friend's name up in the phone book. Most of the time, it would be under their parents' name, so you'd have to figure that out too. Even if you wanted to order something as simple as pizza, you'd have to whip out the phone book. Luckily, today you don't have to memorize every important phone number, and if you need to reach a friend, you can probably do so on social media. Rotary phones. Not only are landlines becoming near obsolete, the phones that once used landlines are too. The rotary phone looks like an ancient artifact these days. Not only is it a phone with a cord, but where are all the buttons? It would take at least 2 minutes to dial someone on a rotary phone, and that's if you didn't mess up. If you got one number wrong, you'd have to hang up and start the long process all over again. Heaven forbid someone or a business had a number with a bunch of ones or zeros. Walkmans and Discmans. When it came to portable music, there weren't many options back in the day. Between Walkmans and Discmans, neither were exactly exercise-friendly. These small machines would play either CDs or cassette tapes, but they were pretty bulky. Try jogging down the road with something the size of a small DVD player in your pocket or attached to your arm. Not only did the size get in the way, but if a CD was scratched or any sort of jolting movement happened, your song would skip over and over. VHS Players. Not only were VCRs or VHS players the only way to watch movies, they would actually destroy the movies over time. If you had a favorite movie, you would run the risk of watching it until it just stopped playing. If that wasn't enough, VHS players could completely eat the film tape in the VHS cassette, which is how you watch the movie. When this happened, you'd have to carefully and manually wind the film tape back into place, and hopefully the movie was still intact. Dial internet access. Just having internet service way back when was a luxury, and the only way to get access was through a dial-up internet connection. That meant that your internet was connected to a telephone line, and that's how you cruised the web. It took forever to access, and the noises it would make are still recognizable to older generations. Also, you would actually have to wait for someone to get off the phone so you could play online. But nothing could be worse than getting kicked off the internet just because your mom picked up the phone. Waiting for photos. Kids today have such easy access to photos that they have become photo-obsessed. If anyone wanted to take a selfie 20 years ago, it would have taken 2 to 3 days just to get it back. Not only that, but the person developing it would have to see your potentially awful selfie. Then, if you wanted to share the photo with your friends online, which you probably didn't have, you'd have to use a photo scanner to scan it to a computer file. Taking a photo of your food wasn't even worth the process back then. Tape decks. If you had a car with a tape deck 30 years ago, you were lucky. This meant you could actually be ready in time to record your favorite music from the radio onto your blank cassette. If you still have a car with a tape deck, there is a pretty good chance today's kids will have no idea what it's for. They may think it's an auxiliary player and try to steal their phone in it. No worries, it will just be another opportunity to tell them how lucky they are they didn't have to fiddle with cassette tapes. Floppy disks. From storing homework to holding the world's most important information, floppy disks were a big deal. They used to be able to hold so much information that supervillains in cartoons and movies would steal them from governments in order to destroy the world. Now the notion seems almost laughable. Floppy disks only store about 1.44 megabytes per disk, which means today's average smartphone holds about 16,000 times more information than a floppy disk would have. Video rental stores. Years ago, if you wanted to see your favorite movie or new releases, chances are you'd drive down to the video rental store to rent one. You'd be given a rental for 2 to 3 days, and you better return it on time or suffer the consequential fees. Today, it is so much easier to have access to movies because companies like Netflix made the video rental stores obsolete. At least kids today never have to wait the 2.5 minutes it takes to rewind a movie after watching it. What are some more things kids today don't recognize? React in the comment section below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Things.